Hello, welcome to Big Condo Online. This is Mid-Morning Music, your weekly music podcast with me, Phil Beale. And today we welcome into the studio the wonderful Haiven Sellers. Come on, guys, give it up. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome, Haiven. Very welcome. So you're obviously not a local, for just being really perceptive here and listening to your accent. Tell me a bit about where you come from.
Yeah, so I'm American. I come from the United States. I've lived all over like the East Coast, east side of the U.S. Was born in Florida, actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Big up Florida.
yeah. I was born in Florida, and I've lived.
Where in Florida?
Jacksonville.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Jacksonville. And I lived in New York for a while, lived in Long Island, and I'm currently living in Michigan right now.
Right, okay. And Liverpool.
Yeah, and now Liverpool. Yeah.
So how did that connection come about then?
So I decided that I wanted to study abroad, and I wanted to come to Liverpool because it's the city of music, right? And this place has such a rich history, and there's so much to like about this place. And I also found out about LIPA, which is where I'm studying right now.
Yeah.
And I just loved their songwriting program. It looked really awesome. And so I applied, and I got in, and so I decided to come here.
Fantastic, yeah. So how long ago was that you landed in Liverpool?
I landed in Liverpool in September, so I've only been here for a few months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so has that been something of a culture shock, would you say?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think like the food and the TV shows, the accents. So, Gogglebox.
What is that all about? I mean, watching people watching TV. Wow.
Yeah. It was really hard to understand my flatmates' accents when they were trying to explain what Gogglebox was, and I thought they were saying like Garglebox, and I was like, what's Garglebox? And they all just started laughing, and so the accents have been a bit of a barrier in the beginning, but I'm slowly understanding them a lot better now.
Yeah, cool. Hey, it was a culture shock coming from Birmingham, let alone coming from Michigan. Yeah, wow. Yeah. So just going a little bit back in time to your where you come from musically and what your background is. So what's your first musical memory?
So I started music when I was 9 years old. I was in elementary school, which I think you guys call primary school here.
We do.
Yeah, I was in primary school, and we had a beginning strings program at my school. I wanted to play violin, and so I started learning violin at the age of 9, and I instantly fell in love with it. Like, I remember my first ever concert, it was in like this really old church, like in my hometown, and it was just like a few of us on stage. But I remember playing violin and just having that feeling of like, I want to do this more.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And so I kept with it. I still play violin today, like 10 years later.
Yeah.
But I got into songwriting in high school, and I learned that I just really loved music in all forms, not just classical, but contemporary as well. And yeah, when I was in high school, I decided to go to Interlochen Arts Academy, which is a performing arts school in Michigan, and I studied songwriting there for a few years. And that's when I think I really fell in love with all things music, like music theory and like string arranging, all things lyrics and production. Fabulous. And that's when I decided to make the decision to study music as like a full-time career.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. So which artists did you relate to initially? Who were the first people that made a big impact on you?
I think it was definitely people like Norah Jones and Vance Joy. I loved that jazz style, and I also love folk, and there's definitely elements of both of those things in my music.
Yeah, Norah Jones, fantastic, yeah. And so, yeah, were they the beginnings of your music collection? Who were the first people you collected?
Well, if we're talking like what I first started listening to, I used to listen to music with my dad in the car all the time. And so I listened to stuff like Steve Miller Band and Queen and like Buddy Holly.
I wouldn't have guessed that as
really?
Wow.
My mom would always have like Sam Cooke. I was like dancing in the back seats. So that's what I definitely grew up on. But then when I started collecting my own stuff, we got a record player when I first started high school. So I got stuff like Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles, and that's when I got into some more stuff from that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So are your parents musicians as well?
No, I'm the only musician in my family.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah, but they're obviously musical people then.
Yeah, but my dad loves music. He always loves listening to music. Like, our favorite thing to do together is we'll just put on an album and just hang out and, like,
Fabulous.
listen to it and talk about it.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So when did you first realise you were a singer then?
I have been singing ever since I could talk, or so my parents tell me. I could be wrong. I don't remember a lot of this. But yeah, I always just grew up singing. I didn't realize I had like a real passion for it till I was older. I would say maybe around like 12 or 13. I used to be really scared of singing in front of people, and so I never did.
Quite natural.
But
thing,
yeah, I think when I started to come out of my shell a bit more as a teenager, I was like, hey, I like doing this. This is fun.
Excellent.
So
Yeah. So when was your first singing performance? You mentioned your first violin performance, but what about your first singing performance?
So I did this benefit concert in Long Island. It was I was working with this amazing composer, Michael Busowitz-Korm, and she is just amazing. And she invited me to do a performance with one of my original songs. And no one had ever asked me to do a performance as a songwriter before.
Oh, wow.
And I was really scared. I was 13. I didn't know what was going on.
My word, 13.
And I just thought it would be a casual benefit concert. And to my surprise, there was like 500 people there, maybe 600 people. And like, I was sitting backstage just being like, what is going on? I was so scared. But
Baptism of fire.
yeah, quite literally baptism by fire, trial by fire for sure.
Yeah.
But I got on stage and I was playing with a couple of my friends who played violin and cello because Michael did an arrangement for me for the song.
Yeah.
And I started playing the song and I instantly realized, like, this is actually fun. I'm really enjoying myself. That I felt really calm. I felt at peace. And I loved that interaction between the audience and the performer. Like, there's nothing quite like that. Like, you're sharing a space and you're sharing a piece of art, a part of yourself with people in a way that you can't do anywhere else, you know?
That's a really lovely way to describe it. It's an energy exchange, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much a conversation, though, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So do you have to write songs? Have you got to write songs?
Yeah, for sure. I write at least 5 times a week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love to just sit down and write songs. I write songs to decompress. I write songs for assignments. I write songs just because I want to write a song.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
So is it largely autobiographical, would you say, or do you create characters and work with them from there?
I do both.
Ah.
I think definitely when I was younger, I wrote more with storylines and things that weren't as personal because I think when you're so young, you don't have as many life experiences. And so you just kind of assume other personas and other people. But now that I'm older and I've seen more of the world and I'm studying abroad and meeting all these incredible people, my life feels like a totally new thing. And so there's a lot more things to write about and gain inspiration from.
Yeah, fabulous. So tell us a bit more about the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. How is that for you? Tell us a little bit more about what goes on there and what you do there.
Yeah, it's been great. So I study songwriting and performance there, and I also study voice. So I take voice lessons, and since I play violin, I play in Lipa's string ensemble, and that's really fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we have songwriting classes, music business classes. We do a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of co-writing in that program.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's been really great because I didn't have a ton of experience co-writing before I came to Lipa, and now that I've done it for a term now, I feel like I've learned a lot more about it and have changed my creative process a bit.
Really? Mm-hmm. In what way?
I think just seeing other people's ways of writing and their creative process, you gain inspiration in different ways. Like, one of my friends suggested writing down every single line you come up with, even if you're just walking down the street. Like, write it down, get your phone out, text it out. And I started doing that, and I've written more songs that way.
Fantastic.
And so I think I've learned that there's a lot more ways to find inspiration, and there's no right or wrong way to go about writing a song.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. So you're going to play something for us today, which is great.
Yeah.
So can you introduce that for us? What song are you going to play for us today?
Yes. So I'm going to play a song called Breakfast is Lonely, and this is off of my album Vivid that came out last summer. And I wrote this song when I was 15. It was one of the first songs ever brought in to Interlaken to get some feedback on in a workshop, and people liked it, and so I kept on working on it. And yeah, it's just about feeling alone and wishing somebody was there with you while you're eating a meal.
Fantastic. Yeah. So take it away. We're going to have the fantastic Haiven Sellers with Breakfast is Lonely.
Empty bottles and hotel rooms. What deep streets have you escaped to? You're running away from all of the pain and waiting for me to change. I wish you knew what I have been through. Breakfast is so damn lonely. Toast has no taste and the coffee's bitter. I don't know why you left me behind. So come on home, 'cause breakfast is lonely. Rainy days and passenger views, foggy windows and morning dew. If I could drive or maybe fly, I'd forget that you're not in my life. Lose my way and I might find you. Breakfast is so damn lonely. Toast has no taste and the coffee's bitter. I don't know why you left me behind. So come on home, 'cause breakfast is lonely. You say to make way for something new, but I can't go on without you. They say to make way for something new, but I can't go on without you. Breakfast is so damn lonely. Toast has no taste and the coffee's bitter. I don't know why you left me behind. So come on home, 'cause breakfast is lonely.
Well done indeed. That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Haiven. So, yeah, so that's off your album Vivid, which
Yes,
came out last year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, have you done any other radio work? Have you in the last 12 months or so? Or what have you been doing?
Yeah, so when my album came out in July, I did a couple of radio interviews, and that was super fun. And that was all stuff in America and Michigan. And I also did a radio show for 9 and 10 News, and that was really fun. We just talked about music and about the album. I went on tour last summer as well.
I noticed that from your social media. Yeah, that must have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a really great experience. I went with fellow Interlochen alum Breezy Love, who's extremely talented, and it was so much fun. We just hit the road for 2 weeks and did shows all over Michigan, and it was a really great experience, especially as a performer. I feel like I gained a lot of insight, and we worked with a lot of amazing venues.
Fantastic, yeah. So 2021, how would you assess 2021 for you?
It was a life-changing year, I would say.
Sounds like it,
Yeah, it was a lot. Graduated high school, put out an album, toured, moved to a foreign country, started university. It was a wild ride for sure. Yeah.
Fabulous. And 2022, what are your hopes and dreams for this year now coming?
I really want to release some more music. I'm currently working on a new EP that I'd like to release this summer, which has a lot of string arrangements on it, and I'm super excited to put that into the world. I'm hoping to do some more performances, and I really just want to connect more with the people around me, make more music, of course, and just adventure. I'm in a new place. I really want to see more.
Fantastic. Have you actually performed in Liverpool up to now?
I have not performed in Liverpool yet.
Right,
no.
Okay. So you've got one coming up, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, yep, January 22nd. I'm super excited to do the Refreshments showcase.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be doing at Refreshment then? Have you got 15, 20 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, I think we have a 15-minute set, 4 songs, so I'm super excited.
Fantastic. Absolutely superb. Well, we'll see you there, absolutely. So, so what... we're just going to... a couple more questions now, and... how would you define the power of music?
The power of music. See, I think music is such a powerful thing because it doesn't matter what language you speak, what background you come from, what part of the world you live in. It's something where everybody universally can feel it. And art is like that in all forms, but I think music especially because there's so much emotion and it's such a sensory defined thing because you hear it and you can get goosebumps. Music makes you cry, it makes you smile, and there's nothing else in the world that gives you that same feeling.
Fabulous, yeah. An international language, isn't it? So it's wonderful. It's an interesting name, your name.
Thank you.
So where does that come from?
So my dad came up with it, actually. Yeah, my mom wanted to name me Vivian after my great-grandma.
Right.
And my dad wanted to name me Hannah, but my mom wasn't too crazy about Hannah. My dad didn't like Vivian. And so they were like, what if we combine the two? Haiven.
Wow.
So
Very original. Very original.
Thank you.
That's fabulous, yeah. So what is the background and the origins of your family then? Are they from the Michigan area for generations or?
So my mom's family comes from Michigan, but my dad's family comes from Georgia, so very, very down south of America, and they met in the military in Texas.
Oh wow.
Yes, I come from a military family. That's why we moved around so much.
I see, right.
Yeah, and it's actually funny. All my siblings are all born in different states.
Wow.
But yeah, we have family all over the place.
Yeah,
so.
fabulous. Yeah. So have you been back since you came to Liverpool? Yeah. Did you get back for the holiday? Did you?
Yeah, I went back to Michigan for a little bit of December for Christmas and the New Year.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, fabulous. So yeah. So I always ask, because we're based in Liverpool here, and obviously you come over to the city of music. I have to ask you the question: have the Beatles impacted on you in any way, artistically, musically, or in any way culturally? Would you say?
Oh yes, absolutely. The Beatles, I mean, worldwide phenomenon, right?
Absolutely.
These iconic songwriters, these iconic musicians. This band has just had such an impact on the world. For me personally, when I was first starting to get into music, one of the churches that I went to as a kid, we had a church band, and the leader of our band, his name's Chuck, and Pastor Chuck loved the Beatles, and he was the first person to really introduce me to that.
Oh, right.
And we did Beatles songs like in church and stuff, and it was so fun. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, man, these people are really cool. I want to listen to the Beatles more. And he was one of the first people I told about Lipa. He actually lived in England for a while and was
right.
that'd be a really great experience for you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when I think of the Beatles, I think about that, and that was where I started to get more comfortable singing. And yeah, so I have to thank the Beatles for getting me out of my shell and for being intrigued in songwriting. Absolutely.
That's fabulous. Obviously, there's a big connection with Paul McCartney with Lipa, isn't there?
Yes.
You're aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Does he still appear at the end of term dues and stuff? Does he, do you know?
Yeah, so he comes to graduation every year, and he does some songwriting sessions with some students as well in the third year.
Have you actually met him yourself yet?
I've not met him yet, but I know people who've met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good guy, isn't he? He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And my God, what a talent, yeah.
Yeah.
So for the rest of 2022, we've got Refreshment coming up then. Mm-hmm. Have you got any other live gigs coming up scheduled as yet?
Not scheduled yet, but definitely hoping to get some on the roster soon.
Sure, absolutely. Have you socialised around the city, and have you got any favourite places that you like to go to or listen to music at?
Yeah, so I've been to a few different venues. Rock and Roller has been really fun.
Oh, right.
I like the live music there. The atmosphere is cool. As far as my favorite places to go, I love going for a walk on like the docks and by the Liver buildings.
Right, yeah.
It was so pretty out there, especially at night.
Yeah.
And I really love, my favorite restaurant has to be like Crust on
Right.
Bold Street.
Right.
The Italian food, unreal.
Really?
So good. If you haven't been to Crust, go. It is amazing.
Fantastic. And has it lived up to your expectations, Liverpool? What were your expectations before you came over here, would you say?
Yeah, I definitely think this has totally exceeded my expectations. But what I would also say is there's a lot of things I didn't expect to be so wonderful, like different aspects of Liverpool. I never expected this to be the case, but I think the best thing about Liverpool is the people. Like, the people here are just so wonderful. I meet incredibly talented people, kind people. You can walk up to a stranger and, like, have a full-on conversation.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of places in America where it's just not like that. And
Yeah.
there's a really special atmosphere about Liverpool.
I think that's absolutely true. I totally agree. Again, coming as an outsider myself, I totally agree with that. So can you give us your social media handles, please, so that people can find you
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
listen to your music?
Yeah, my social media is just my name. It's at Haiven Sellers. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And I have music out on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Pandora, all streaming platforms.
Fabulous. Well, it's been a real pleasure to meet you, and especially to hear you play. That was absolutely fabulous.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're absolutely more than welcome. So yeah, time's up for today now, and big thanks to the wonderful Haiven Sellers for coming in today. I've really enjoyed meeting you, and good luck in all that you do.
Thank you so much.
And I'll be looking out for your next release and your new EP. I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So this has been Mid-Morning Music with me, Phil Beale, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have today. So I'll see you next week. Please like, share, hit the bell, leave us your feedback, and let us know what you think. And great being part of this again today. Big Condor Online signing off. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
I just wish you knew.